Welcome to Let's Talk Football with me, Chris.
And me, Richard.
Every week we discuss all the big talking points in the world of football and preview all the action in the week to come.
In this week's podcast, the Premier League is back, and it's like it's never been away. Arsenal pick up where they left off with a good win over West Ham. Newcastle go second with a comfortable win over Leicester, and there are also wins for Liverpool, Chelsea and United over the festive period.
Well, we're back. Lots to get on with. So, let's talk football. Here we are. Premier League is back.
Hi, everybody. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas.
Yes, hope you all had a nice Christmas. We're just getting ready for a bit of New Year action. And just for public service announcement, we're recording this before the City Leeds game, okay, on Wednesday.
Yes. So if we don't mention them, that's why.
That's why, okay? We've not seen it because it hasn't happened yet, but it might have happened for you.
Yes.
So congratulations to whoever.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Go on then.
Hold on. Let me get my crystal ball. Manchester City are going to win 3-1.
Okay. Now you just do a load of different ones, and you just cut in the one.
Yeah, just cut in the right one.
Just cut in the right one. So here we are then, we're back. Exciting. So it all started. Let's start where it started.
Oh, no, come to start where it started.
Gives you an opportunity to have a chat about a team that I know you wanted to talk about for weeks now.
For goodness sake.
No, we've got to. So lunchtime kick-off Boxing Day was Brentford Spurs. And Spurs, I thought, were very Spursy.
Oh, don't use
It's
that
been like it all season.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, very Spursy.
That is the 9th time in a row we have fallen behind in a game.
It's not surprising. You're the second half team that is Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, we went through this. United were like this a couple of years ago.
We are now the second half team that only seem to play for the second half of the second half.
Yeah, getting later and later.
it's just like, and then we probably should have won the damn game. We were the better team for the last half hour, and I don't get it.
That would have been harsh on Brentford, though.
Not really.
When you've been the best team for the hour of the game.
Yeah, but then they didn't kill us off, did they? That third goal would have done us in, but it never came.
Would have.
And it didn't look like coming.
But they didn't deserve to lose the game.
Yeah, maybe.
If this was United, you'd be saying the same thing. So shush. So yeah, big Ivan Toney obviously got his point to prove. Wants to get himself back involved with England. Won't have done himself any harm. I thought his performance overall was very good.
Yeah, we struggled to contain him. Yeah, but then we did have Tanganga, Dyer, and Longley. Poor old Japhet Tanganga.
Yeah. Well, you're missing Romero's not back yet.
Romero's not back yet. Davis has come back with an injury, but played the last 5 or 6 minutes after Longley got that cut to his head, didn't he? Going forward, we looked all right. I don't know whether it's a ploy from Antonio Conte just to allow teams to come on to us.
I think it might be, but it's not really working because you're not strong enough defensively.
It's a very frustrating thing to sit and watch because you're just waiting for the first goal to go in.
Well, that's it. Defensively, you're not strong enough to absorb the pressure.
No. We have always been a team that has played better when we played on the front foot.
Yeah. Which is what you're getting forced into later on in games because you're 2-0 down all the time.
But we have the quality to play on the front foot from the first minute.
Yeah.
Not for the last 20 minutes and then hoping we can pull it out of the fire. Yeah.
It is surprising. I was surprised Perisic started, actually, considering that he went
considering he just played 9 days before. Fraser Forster selection, that went wrong. Because although they said he took a deflection the first goal, he still should save that. He still shouldn't pat it to the bloke right in front of him.
He's just giving it to him. Yeah. There you go. Have a goal.
Other than that,
frustrating return for Spurs. I think it'd be frustrating for both teams, really, because
Brentford would have thought they could have got something from it.
Being 2-0 up at home, they'd have thought, okay, we're all right here. But then a Spurs performance, so neither team's really happy in this scenario, I don't think.
No, and with the chasing pack closing in on us, we need to pull our finger out.
Well, hopefully he won't be in fourth for much longer. Right, so that was our first game back, and it was a good game to get us going, end to end at times, and lots of goals. And then we had the afternoon session, where Crystal Palace. I need to mention Crystal Palace. It's phenomenal. How they've gone down to 9.
Yeah, they got lots of cards for Christmas.
Yeah, plenty. Yeah, plenty of cards this Christmas at Crystal Palace. It was just bizarre what I watched, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean Mitchell. I think Mitchell's unlucky because he kind of catches him with the follow through.
Yeah,
but he's still got his studs.
But it's
up.
a bit.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a bit reckless. It's a bit. He's not in control of what he's doing. It's a foul, and he could have caused some real problems.
Damage.
I feel.
Yeah. And Tompkins as a second yellow. Is Mitrovic clever? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh. To be honest,
he feels the contact and he goes down. Mitrovic.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think the yellow's a bit. It's a bit like okay. It's a free kick.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he'd had a few before
it. Is it a second yellow card? I don't know.
Yeah. You know, unless he'd had a few fouls leading into it, maybe.
Yeah.
And that was last straw. Because I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, no, it seemed soft to me. For a yellow card, it didn't look like a yellow to me.
No. But Fulham up to the dizzy heights of 9th.
But Fulham, really, you know, they've had a strong season so far and they've come back.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's really changed their form, really, have they, coming out of... I mean, we'll get on with it a bit later, but Fulham, yeah, played well, did what they needed to against... I mean, they were already 1-0 up, obviously, when the first red card comes. But the red card changes the complexion of the game completely.
They've still got to finish the job, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but they did what they needed to do, and they'll be delighted, really. And this might be the season that Fulham managed to stay up.
They just go yo rather than yo.
Just going back down. They'll be staying up for a bit. So no, GG's and good games to Fulham. Everton Wolves now. Everton, they are in very much trouble.
I tell you what, there was four games to choose from on the 3 o'clocks, and I chose this one to watch because I thought it was going to be a good game, and it was. Yeah,
it was very, very entertaining. Mina gets the early goal for Everton. You know, they need Everton. Just they're in a bit of a free fall.
They are in deep brown stuff.
Yeah, but you know, you get the goal. They think, right, we're off. We're back up. We're at home. We're a goal up, and then it just, I don't know. There was nothing from Everton.
They just stopped
after that.
Yeah,
there was absolutely nothing, and Wolves came back into the game.
Oh, beautiful equaliser! Well, it was such a well-worked goal as well.
Yeah, it was.
And then obviously both teams were going for it at the end.
And then it just happened to be that it went the other way for Wolves to get a last-minute win. You know, Wolves themselves need wins. You know, they've been struggling for goals.
But they looked the more likely the last 20 minutes. You looked at Everton when they were going forward and they didn't have a clue what they were doing.
No. I mean, it's all very, very tight at that end of the table.
I mean, it really is now. It's starting to condense up now with... Obviously, Wolves are now what they would term as upwardly mobile.
But yes, for now.
For now.
But the thing is, we're going to get a lot of that. I mean, what is it? The bottom 7.
It's 5 points between Leicester in 13th and Southampton in bottom. Yeah.
So it's very, very close down that end of the table.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Big
Obviously, the new manager bounce worked as well for Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking over.
But I think Frank Lampard may be getting a little bit nervous about his position.
I was having a discussion about this with someone on Boxing Day. I was like, what do they do? Obviously, do they replace Frank with somebody else? If so, who?
Yeah.
But if they decide to stick with Frank, has he got the experience to get them out of this? As a manager?
That's the question, isn't it, really, at this point? It's what can he do?
Yeah,
I mean, everybody needs to get experience one way or another, but he needs something. I mean, last season, obviously, they got out of it with Frank at the helm. So, you know, he has a little bit of experience of getting them over the line. But I really felt that Everton and the fans, and maybe, you know, and even Frank himself at this point would have expected them to have made a step forward from last year.
Yeah, they would expect to probably be sort of mid-table-ish. Yeah. Not sort of clinging sort of onto the cliff before dropping into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I would say for Everton, he's obviously, you know, Ben Godfrey only just coming back from his injury, isn't he?
Yeah.
Connor Cody. I always called him.
You always called him Cody Connor.
I always called him Cody. I think it's a better name, to be honest. Connor Cody. I think obviously they were missing him.
Yeah, because he couldn't play against his parent club.
Yeah, because he's only on loan. So there's there's players to come back in.
Have they got the money to spend in January? Probably not.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin not being available again is
it's
difficult. They can't rely on.
I would be very worried if I was an Everton fan because they've escaped this so many times over the last 30 years.
Yeah,
and I think this might be the one they don't.
We'll see. We shall see. Right, what else did we have? Boxing Day entertainment. Newcastle with a very comfortable win.
They just swept Leicester aside, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no danger at all, I think, for Newcastle for that whole game right from the beginning. Chris Wood gets, they get the early penalty. Well, they get 2 early goals, don't they?
Yeah,
Almiron gets his 9th of the season. Can't stop scoring at the minute, Almiron, even after a month off.
Yeah.
Comes back straight back in the goals.
As you said, with Fulham, they just picked up where they left off. Newcastle,
no problem.
Yeah.
Just straight back on it and up to, well, as of now, as of recording, 2nd in the league.
Yep.
Looking good on it. I mean, you wouldn't put. I mean, they've got to be in the conversation for top 4 almost. That they're going to be in there. But I mean, obviously you don't know. It's still early days. I think the confusion is. I think we've had the World Cup as a sign of a mid-season break, but we're not mid-season at all.
No,
really.
We're not even halfway yet. No,
we're not even halfway through the league season, so anything can really change. But it's been a solid start for Newcastle, and you'd really expect them to be able to step on from here and keep going and pushing. And Eddie Howe, we've all talked about how great a job he's done.
Yeah.
And I expect that to continue.
Definitely, yeah. As for Leicester, they were abject, I thought, Leicester.
Yeah, there was nothing, again, the comeback, a bit cold, not really on it. Not got everyone back yet.
No, obviously Maddison was out, which was a big miss for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and Vardy only played the second half.
Yeah, he come on for Daka. But by then, the damage was done. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they've got a bit of work to do at Leicester still. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to go out in January and strengthen the team, because they need to.
Yeah.
Because that's been their biggest problem, isn't it? Is that they weren't able in the summer to go out and spend.
And it doesn't sound like they're going to be able to do it again in January. So, yeah.
It doesn't. No. It doesn't. It could be.
And they have the prospect of losing Maddison. Obviously, Tielemans, there's a big question mark about him as well. Do they let him go for nothing, or do they cash in on him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting times. Yeah.
Plenty going on at Leicester. Brighton, Southampton again. Brighton have had a good start to the season, and that continues after the break.
Yeah.
3-1 win over Southampton, who now find themselves bottom of the Premier League. Yeah. Southampton,
after changing their manager. Yeah. Obviously Nathan Jones in charge now. Got some work to do.
I mean, yeah, I think. Well, the thing is, it's so tight down there. A couple of results either way, and things can change, can't they? But again, Southampton just got. I think there's a few teams got caught cold coming back after the break.
Yeah,
and others that are really on it.
Yeah. Do you see Solly March's goal?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what a beautiful goal! Just a sort of maybe 25 yards out, just curled it in the top corner. Beautiful strike.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff.
Brighton up to 7th.
Brighton up to 7th in that European
conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what happens with the likes of McAllister though in January, because I feel like there'll be a few suitors coming in after his performance at the World Cup.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, he's been good all season, to be fair, for Brighton.
Yeah.
But he's put himself on the showcase.
But then Brighton do have this knack of, if they lose somebody, they just go out and find somebody and replace them. No,
it's very true.
Yeah.
It's true. They've done well. I think they lost Basuma, haven't they, over the summer?
And they brought Caicedo through.
Yeah,
he was with them last season, but they pushed him to the front, and he's been brilliant. Yeah.
So they've got a bit of a thing. Thing is though, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Southampton a few years ago.
Yes. Yeah,
conveyor belt eventually it catches up with you.
Yes, which is where they are now, really. Southampton, they've gone out and they went about it a different way in the summer, bringing in sort of younger players. to try
That's it.
and, bringing him in for a low price and obviously trying to look to sell them on eventually. But they just haven't got that experience, Southampton.
No,
And
absolutely.
That's the difficulty with them, I think, at the minute.
No, they are struggling, Southampton, and it'll be interesting to see again if they go out in January and do business, because I think a lot of clubs, especially that end of the table, will want to.
Yes.
But no, another good win there, and then the 5:30 kickoff. Aston Villa Liverpool.
Yeah.
Comfortable again for Liverpool, I think.
For Liverpool, although Darwin Núñez had an absolute shocker again.
Again. Oh, he can't shoot.
Man can't
he
hit
can't
a
hit the barn door at the minute, can he? No.
No.
Absolute in shambles.
It's funny though, isn't it?
I mean, I guess he's a Scouser, so yeah.
I know.
But
I was just watching the highlights going, come on, you're clean through on goal. Where's it going to go?
he's just going through this spell at the minute where it's just nothing's working. Yeah. Nothing's working.
He just needs one to come off him. Yeah, and go in.
He's making Timo Werner look like a 50-goal a seasoner at the minute. It is all going off for poor old Darwin Núñez. But, I think in fairness to him, if we take out all the rivalries, in fairness, he's getting himself there. And I think it's just about keeping his confidence in a place where he can keep going in there, and eventually something will hit him off a heel or hit him off the bum, and it'll go in and he'll be away.
Yeah.
But at the minute it's hard.
And it's quite comical.
It's difficult. But it's not costing Liverpool at the minute, because they've got goals all over the place.
And
obviously with Salah in the team,
and they've
got the addition,
the man coming in, Mr. Gakpo.
Mr. Gakpo had a good, solid, great World Cup really.
To be fair,
for the
this
Netherlands.
is what impresses me about Liverpool, but it also annoys the hell out of me that they have so much forward planning.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. I mean, this obviously they've kind of come in at this point for him. Yeah. But he probably wasn't on their radar.
Maybe not.
Until at least the summer.
But you think, obviously, that probably means the end for Mo Salah. I mean, there's rumours that he's probably going to go anyway.
I'm not sure about that, because Gakpo will play mainly from the left rather than the right, where Salah is. So Salah comes off the right. Gakpo's more of he'll come from the left side rather than the right side. They did
the same thing with Luis Diaz last season. They had the inkling that Sadio Mane was going to go, and they got him in January rather than waiting till the summer.
No, it's true, but I mean, Salah did sign a new deal, didn't he?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Really, Liverpool are going to get. Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, in terms of Liverpool's position, it wasn't desperate for them.
No, but
because they're in control of that situation.
But obviously, they've got the funds there. Obviously, what's it 30 million with add-ons?
Yeah,
that's an absolute bargain.
No, it's good. It's a good bit of business. I think he'll do well. He's big, he's strong, he's quick.
Yeah.
He showed in the World Cup. He's got a goal. He's got a goal in him.
Yeah, it's very annoying. That's all it is. Very annoying.
But it is a bit of a changing of the guard. You can kind of see. It'll be interesting to see really how that all works from January, because obviously Luis Diaz has done nothing wrong.
No.
And we'll expect to come in from that left. Darwin Núñez will be the one under pressure really, because Gakpo could go through the middle for him. But you got Firmino as well in there to back up. I think didn't Oxlade-Chamberlain play?
He did. Yeah.
So, and then you've got young Carvalho as well.
Yeah, I like Carvalho. Very good player.
So they've got options up there with their main man, but I still think if Salah goes, that's a big loss.
It will be. Yeah, it will be a big loss too.
And I don't. To be honest, I don't see it. I don't see him leaving Salah.
Not just yet, maybe. But they've certainly bought Gakpo in with not this year, next year in mind. Yeah.
But we shall see. And then we rounded off Boxing Day with Arsenal West Ham, and Arsenal cruising. Cruising in the second half. Obviously, they go the goal down. But to be honest, I thought Arsenal were the better team throughout the game.
Yeah. West Ham were just looking to it on the break, weren't they?
Yeah, they were pretty much in control. They got the goal, the penalty. But I always felt watching the game that Arsenal were always going to come through it.
Yeah, they were always creating chances. They were always getting in behind. Just a question of when they put the passes together.
Exactly. It was their young trio that got the goals for him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Nketiah's goal is.
Oh yeah.
I mean that turn is amazingly good.
Oh yeah.
To turn his man like that, to make the space for the shot. Yeah, obviously Martinelli's one. Goalkeeper should do better. I don't think he should be beaten that side.
No.
But yeah, no, good result for Arsenal. Picked up where they left off. Will Nketiah fill Gabriel Jesus' shoes, though? I'm not sure. I think they might go out and do some business as well.
Well, they could do, but the thing is, when you're doing this kind of business, it's looking at it as a whole, isn't it? Because, okay, Jesus might be missing for a few months.
Yeah.
You're thinking, right, we need to plug this gap. But what happens then when Jesus comes back and you've brought someone in?
Yeah.
And you've got too many people in your squad now because you've covered an injury. So I always find that strange how you deal with that situation.
How Nketiah does against a Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, a bigger, it's all well and good turning up against West Ham. No disrespect to West Ham, but it's all well and good turning up against a side like that. But you've got to turn up in the bigger games.
Absolutely, and I think these are young. You've got to remember they're still very young players developing. And those games are important in a title fight.
Yes,
winning those, getting points in those games.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're sitting pretty with 7 points clear at the top of the table at the minute. Obviously before City play.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive game between them in February.
Oh, it really is. I'm really intrigued because it's the real side. Obviously, we've seen Arsenal. They've showed that they can beat. They beat Liverpool, so they've showed that they can do it. But I think the test between those two is going to be something to see.
I still don't think they go the distance, Arsenal. It'll set
the momentum. It'll set the momentum. Well, it's just the only reason you don't think that is because you look at City and the machine that City have been over the last few years.
Haaland is recharged. He's had 4 weeks sitting on his backside.
He got a goal in the first 10 minutes, didn't he, in the Carabao Cup last week? So, he's ready to go.
Yeah. And
it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah, their bigger players didn't have that much to play at the World Cup. Obviously, De Bruyne was out in the group stage.
Yeah.
So, you'd have thought Belgium would go further in the tournament than they did.
Yeah, and Ruben Dias as well came back in with Spain early.
So they wouldn't have lost that much momentum, I don't think, City. But yeah, it's going to be a cracking title race between now and the end of the season. It will be.
It's going to be interesting. I think if Arsenal can win that game, it really puts down a marker.
Yeah.
Because it will put them clear.
Yeah.
In the race, well, obviously there's a month of football, 6 weeks maybe, I think, between now and when that game happens.
Yeah, they play.
Yeah. So a lot can change in that period, but if things stay as they are, and they're 5 points ish clear, somewhere around that, 4 or 5 points clear going into that game, they win that. It's a marker. It's a sign of we're actually here, and it'll be a massive confidence boost to the players.
Yeah.
But I think if City come away with that and close the point gap down to 2 or 1 point, or maybe even at that point go in front of them, that might be the turning point.
Yeah. I agree.
That kind of goes, we're not quite there.
Yeah.
So it is, a lot's going to hinge on that, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously they've still got to play each other twice.
Yeah,
still
got to play each other again after that one. Yeah. I don't think it's too. I think there's like a month's gap between the two games as well, because obviously this one was postponed from back in sort of October time.
Yeah. So it'll be the momentum setter, I think, that game for the title race, and obviously there'll be ups and downs along the way, but yeah, very, very interesting. If Arsenal win it, then it really sets it up nicely, I think. But I think if City win, they might just fall off the back of that and lose a bit of confidence that they could actually win it. Yeah. So that was your Boxing Day. Exciting times. And then we come to Tuesday's football. Chelsea-Bournemouth got us started there.
Yeah.
I thought Chelsea were very, very comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, not too much to write home about that one. Yeah.
No, I think the biggest talking point coming out of that game was Reece James getting re-injured.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully.
Yeah. He can come back and look okay.
Yeah, when he was when he was down and holding his leg, you were like, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
But that
It's a
happens
shame.
with players though. Once they get injured, once they have a major injury, you know, it does
Yeah, I
tend
think-
to happen more than once.
Yeah, it's just making sure, I think, that you've got the strength around the rest. You know, it's about checking the strength of your other muscles as well, isn't it, around it that support your main injury.
Yeah. But they're another side that will probably go out and spend some money in January, I would have thought, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think so. They've been linked, haven't they, with players all over the place. I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with the football manager approach they seem to have at Chelsea at the minute.
Yeah.
Throw enough out there, spend enough money, and something will happen. But no, comfortable win for Chelsea. I think they needed that as well. That, you know, they had a bit of rocky time, didn't they, before the break?
Yeah. And it would have
so something
allowed
to
Graham
settle
Potter
them
to
in.
get his ideas across in that time with the players that were left behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of his major players would have still been around, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good times for Chelsea. And then the final game that we're going to cover today is Manchester United and Nottingham Forest. Again, I thought it was very comfortable. I thought Nottingham Forest was so poor.
I mean,
Defensively,
they were
organisation is all over the place at Forest. That's something they really need to.
I mean, they
Yeah.
hadn't scored a goal away from home as soon as, what was it they were saying
August.
in the commentary? August something at 4:30
yeah.
something.
Yeah, John Champion even gave us the time of the actual goal.
So I was
The
watching
only
that
away
game.
goal.
We were never worrying whether Manchester United were conceding or not.
Yeah, I mean, they did get the ball in the back of the net though.
Yeah.
Just before half time, a bit of sloppiness in the way that we defended that. It was offside, but a little bit of sloppiness. The first goal off the training pitch.
Oh yeah, like Teddy Sheringham
Lovely work goal.
corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderfully done. Wonderfully finished from Marcus as well.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. The second goal I thought was really good as well. I think everyone's talking about Casemiro's tackle and then Rashford getting the assist.
Yeah.
But I thought the best part of that goal for me was Bruno's ball down the line.
Yeah.
To play a straight ball like that and land it on the feet of a player.
Mm-hmm. That close to the
And-
touchline.
Because he kind of scooped it as well. It wasn't like a boot. He kind of scooped it down there. It was going to be like 40-yard pass down the line. I thought that for me was my favourite part of it. Obviously, I think the keeper should do better with it from the finish from Martial.
Yeah, you could kind of see he was going to his left, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was caught. He was caught off balance because he went the other way, which is, you know, always send it back for where it came from, etc.
Yeah.
Which is good thought. But it wasn't in the corner. It wasn't away. He got a hand to it, and I think even Wayne Hennessy would be expecting him to do better with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He was disappointed with that. And then the final goal, Casemiro with beautiful read. He's been so good, Casemiro.
Yeah.
He's been so good. You know, the last like, I don't know, maybe 3 months or so since he got settled really into the team and got his fitness levels back up. He come into United, played brilliant.
You can see why you spent 60 million on him now.
Yeah. And then the World Cup, he had a great World Cup.
Yeah.
As well. And then he's come back in. It's just his reading. He's just his interceptions.
Yeah, he
Like for
reads
the goal,
game very
for
well.
Fred's goal, like he was sprinting. I'm pretty sure he was running towards where the ball was going to be passed to before the player even passed it.
Yeah. He reads the
It
game
was-
very well. He always
was
has
just like,
done,
yeah,
to
I'm-
be fair, with Real Madrid. You know, there's
Yeah.
a reason why he was that good in that team. Yeah, and they did so well. Real.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm glad we came up against Forest with that. You know, at the minute, just because of the fact that we had Luke Shaw playing centre back.
I thought he did well, to be fair.
I thought he did play well, but he didn't need to be. Do you know what I
He
mean?
wasn't tested, no.
Yeah, he didn't need to be brilliant. He was just solid in there, wasn't he? Because you know they probably looked at it and thought, if there's any game we can kind of get away with this, it's going to be this one.
Yeah.
Maguire did come on, but there's been a spate of illness go throughout the squad, so Lindelof's not been well.
Even Donny van der Beek managed to get on.
Yeah,
I turned it over and I see Donny
played
on
okay.
near the ball, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing on?"
Yeah, and I think in fact Ten Hag will give him his opportunities. Obviously, he was injured for us. You know, he's been out a couple months before the break.
Yeah.
So it always looks like, oh, he's missing, he's not here. But he was injured during that period, and he was just coming back before the break.
Yeah.
I think he played the Carabao Cup game. He didn't play very well in it, but obviously, fitness levels. To be fair to him, his fitness. You missed a couple of months. You're just out there trying to get a bit of fitness going. I thought he looked a bit sharp. He looked sharper in the game last night against Forest. So I think overall, you can be happy that he's kind of back within the setup. and he'll get opportunities. But no, we looked very, very good last night, but we didn't need to be brilliant.
No. You and I could have played against Forest last night, and it probably would have been all right.
Oh man, I don't know why you're disrespecting me so much. I am actually good at this game. So no, yeah, that's your Premier League game so far. Obviously, Leeds, as mentioned earlier, we're recording this before the Leeds and City game, so we'll have I'm sure whatever happens in that will change things again, especially down maybe at the bottom and the top of the table, both affected by that one. Right then, so that is Premier League. Obviously, we can't go around the world just yet.
Not just yet. Another couple of weeks and we'll be around the world again.
Yeah, obviously it's their winter breaks and stuff coming up. But yeah, so let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures, because Premier League is back and it's back in full force.
Yep, we are back into the swing of it. So there are a couple of games on Friday this week. So West Ham and Brentford is at 7:45. Liverpool and Leicester is at 8 o'clock. Then on New Year's Eve, we start with Wolves against Manchester United. Manchester City take on Everton. Fulham take on Southampton. Bournemouth take on Crystal Palace. Newcastle take on Leeds before the 5:30 game, which could be a good one, this one. Brighton versus Arsenal. I've got to get up very early on New Year's Day as we take on Aston Villa at 2 o'clock before the 4:30 games to start the new year. Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea.
Lots of good football to come. Indeed. Right, so thank you very much for listening today. If you want to get in touch with us, you can tweet us at Let's Football Pod. You can email us at letsfootballpod@gmail.com. Let us know what's going on with your club and what you'd like us to talk about. If there's anything you'd like our opinions on, etc., etc., then do get in touch. But for now, we'll be back next week with all the fun and games from the New Year fixtures. So have a happy New Year, everyone.
Year, everyone.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.